Jay, find this workout, yo. We ain't doing no workout today. We chilling today, man. I got a little couple things to talk to y'all about. Got me some tea, and I'm putting a little bit of heat on, and I'm gonna get a little conversation with y'all, man. I got wet. I got soaking wet out there. It's pouring down rain, raining out there. Ain't had no jacket or nothing. It just surprised me. Well, I shouldn't have been surprised. I should have been more prepared for it, but I thought I could be able to just slide in and out and duck it out, but man, it got me. It got me. So I had to dry myself off a little bit and go from there. I ain't got none of my stuff together. Everything is messy. Hold on, let me get my thing. All right, I'm back, y'all. Yeah, yeah, ain't too much going on. I just wanted to I wanted to say a couple of things. First thing I wanted to say a little something about the veterans today. Today is Veterans Day. Um, I wanted to kind of touch up on the last conversation I had. I was talking about my brother, and man, I was so focused on. Well, I was so busy trying to duck out the rain and all of that stuff like that. Like I didn't even have all of my thoughts and stuff together. And on top of it, my phone was trying to mess up, man. When I got in the after I finished with everything, when I got in the car, my phone started tripping. I said, "Oh no, I done messed my phone up." I thought my phone was gone, but I took my cover off of it and I wiped it down real good and everything. And it took a few minutes, but it came back. It came back. So I was like, "Phew, I ain't trying to deal with not having no phone." What's up? What's up? Welcome, 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 welcome. What's up, y'all? Yeah, I wasn't trying to deal with not having no phone, man. I thought my phone was a goner standing out there in that rain. Like I knew better than that. I shouldn't have been out there like that. But it's like, I wanted to talk about the stuff with my brother, and it's like I had all of this stuff in my mind to say. And then when the time came, like I got right there and I was forgetting stuff, I said, I'm gonna touch up a little bit on that, just a little bit. But really, like I said, a lot of y'all just coming in. I was saying I got soaking wet out there. I was surprised by the rain. I thought I can get in and out and get back in here before it start pouring down. Man, please. I'm just getting myself dried off and everything coming from out there. And I said, I want to, do something. This is the first time on this channel that I had a chance to speak on veterans and stuff like that. And I wanted to speak on that. And then I wanted to say a little something about my brother. So, being today is Veterans Day, I want to give some honor and praise to our veterans. They work hard for us. They sacrifice for us. They go above and beyond. I have a few of them in my family. I'm gonna shout out real quick. Um, Usually I would kind of give shout outs on Facebook, but since I do YouTube now and I figure I go on and get it in on YouTube, I just want y'all to know that I love y'all and I appreciate everything that y'all do. And also, even people, because I'm gonna tell you, some people some people wanted to be veteran, wanted well not veterans. Some people wanted to serve in the army, in the services, but they couldn't for whatever reason. Me, for example, I considered it when I was a young man. When I was 18, I was in all TC. I liked it. I considered it, but because of my vision, I wasn't able to do it. You know, but I'm gonna shout out the ones that and my family that has served and that is serving right now. All right, starting with my grandfather. Now, my grandfather. Now, I wasn't around when he was serving. He was serving way back before I was even born. He's gone now, but my grandfather was he was a veteran, but when I was around, I came to know him as like a gangster type. You know, he was like a gangster type. Like he was finished with the services. He was, street, and um he was like a loan shark type character, and you know, it was said that as a child growing up in the projects, and I don't want to make this a sad video, like, but I witnessed. Well, I didn't witness, but let me just say this part first. My grandfather was like this. Now, some of us grew up and we got butt whoopings, or punishment or whatever. My grandfather, he had his own special way of punishment. And I think I mentioned this before, probably on one of my other videos. But my grandfather, he ain't beat nobody. He ain't get no belt. No, he ain't do none of that. He took his fist and he put that middle finger out of his fist. I think I mentioned this, but he put that middle finger out of his fist and he take that thing, put it in the center of your forehead, hold the back of your head, and wind that thing. Man, you wish you had got a tail whooping. That thing, and you have a little indentation on your forehead, like you ain't want no smoke from granddaddy. You ain't want no problems. And our mothers, they made sure to go tell them if we was doing anything bad. So we made sure that we stayed on our P's and Q's so that we didn't have no problems with granddaddy. Because soon as they tell him, it was no, that granddaddy, let me explain. Was none of that. He went straight to it. Straight to it. So, that was a good, not so good memory of my grandfather. But unfortunately, the last time I saw my granddad, he was unalived and going to collect money. I told you he was like a loan shark. He was collecting money, and it was an argument. I remember we was in the projects. I was on the 5th floor, and I think he was on the 10th floor going to collect money, and the guy didn't have his money, and I heard arguing. We heard arguing, me and my cousins and my brother, we heard some arguing going on up there. So we was like trying to figure out, we could hear our grandfather's voice. Then all of a sudden it got silent. The next thing we heard was a gunshot. And the thing is, it was so silly of us to go running up there to see what was going on. But I guess we were just some nosy little kids. We went up there. I don't know if we thought we was going to be able to help granddad, or I don't know why we went up there, but I remember clearly going up there and I seen him laying out there on the ground. And I remember shortly after, because we never went to him. We just stood there like in the doorway, in the hallway, stairway. And I remember my aunt coming up and telling us, y'all get back downstairs. And I remember an ambulance pulling up. I don't remember them taking him out. I think my mom and our aunt told us to go in the house or whatever. But that's the last time I seen my granddad. But he did serve in the service, and it's a shame that he came home from the service and he wound up having that issue in the street. But he was a veteran. He was a good dude overall. You know, he was a good dude. So that was my granddaddy. That was the memory that I have of him. Now next was, I'm gonna try to go on the line of the oldest. The next was my Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe was uh he's not my real uncle. He's my two cousins' father, but he's my Uncle Joe. You know, you know how some people you just automatically just take them as family. Like Uncle Joe is like the coolest dude you can ever meet. Seriously, like who can I compare him to? He was, I can't think of what I can compare him to. He just was cool, just all around the type of dude that everybody liked, right? So he went in the service. He went in the service. He served in the service. He was in and out before I met him. And I remember growing up, and I remember that he had a little bit of problems after he came out. I remember he was, trying to get his benefits and stuff like that. And he went through a lot going through that process. But I remember him just coming around us and giving us encouragement, trying to keep us on the right track. Like, I remember him coming to the basketball court. I mentioned this on my other channel. Coming to the basketball court, we trying to get him to come play ball with us. He's like, "Nah, I retired." And I remember we gave him the ball. He shot a 3-point shot, nothing but net. He's like, "Oh no, Uncle Joe, come on, play with us, play with us." He's like, "Nah, I'm retired. I don't do that no more." Now I understand what he's saying now because that's where I'm at. Kids be trying to get me back out there. Nah, I'm retired. So I get that. But I love Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe's still around. He's still around. He done been through some things, but he's still around. He's still around. He's a good dude. And I want to say Happy Veterans Day to him. Um, uh, One of my cousins' son went in the service for a while. I don't know much about him, but this was a few years back. I think he stayed in for a few years because I remember they came down here to see me. They came from Maryland down to North Carolina to see me. Oh, actually, I was living in South Carolina at the time. And he had all his orientation and stuff going on down at the Army base down in North Carolina. And his name is, I'm old, forgive me if I got to think about it. Because we always called him by his nickname. I believe Darius. I may be wrong. We always called him Data Man. Data Man for some reason. I don't know who came up with that nickname for him, but that's all I ever known him by. But his last name was Williams. He's a good kid. Decided to go in the army in the service to try to do something good with his life. And I want to give him a shot. I knew my sister was going to do that. I knew she was going to do that. It's like all day she been sending me uh, memes and all kind of stuff, and she wait till I get on live. Let me just let her know I'm on live. All right, so he went in for a couple of years, and he did good. He made a good life for himself, and shout out to him, Data Man Williams. He know who I'm talking about. I can't remember what his first name. It'll come back to me. All right, and my sister here, which is actually my stepsister, right? Her son, he went in the service. I don't even think I'm not even gonna mention his name because he's very private. But my nephew went in. He's a Marine right now. He's currently a Marine. Been in service for about 18 years, and has done very, very well for himself. You know, he's moved up the ranks uh, uh, real good. You know, he even told me at one point, you know, he thought about quitting. You know, I guess you know it's a lot to it. See, civilians like me, like we don't know about all the things that these veterans have to go through. Not even only on the battlefield, but before they get to the battlefield. Like there's so many things that they have to do to get themselves lined up, to get themselves trained. Like it's a lot to it. Then add that along with the sacrifices they make and being away from their families. Like it's tough. It's tough. You know, so that's why I got to give them, you know, credit where credit is due. You know, and I got to acknowledge them, you know, because, you know, like I said, even the ones like I said that wanted to be in there and couldn't. I'm even going to give you credit because I know how that is. I know how it is to want something and not be able to do it because of your disability or whatever like that. So, you know, so that's that. But yeah, but not my nephew, yeah, he was a good kid, you know. He grew up, he was my sidekick. He was like my son before I even started having kids. You know, he grew up right beside me, you know, on the basketball courts. I taught him how to play ball, taught him how to ride a bike, you know. Um, that part of my family has always been very special to me. And when I was a little bit kind of nervous at first when he said that out of high school that he wanted to go into service, I was a little bit nervous about it. Um, I know how hard it was for my Uncle Joe to get the benefits and stuff that he wanted. I mean that he deserved, that was his. And I was a little bit nervous. But then on the other hand, in Baltimore City, the violence is getting out of control, you know, and I didn't want him to be in Baltimore City because he was not no kid that be involved in no, you know, gang activities and all that stuff. Like, he was a good kid, you know. So I didn't want him to be in Maryland and wind up being a statistic. So I was in support, you know, with him going into the service, and he's went in and he done over and above. You know, he's married now, has a beautiful daughter that looked just like him. Lord, she looked like he did. It was all him. Like you know, it's funny. It's funny. See, I got to speak on him. It's funny because, you know, he's very special to me, right? And all I can think about is him being the little Anthony, my little sidekick. And just to imagine him now being married and having a little daughter, like, you know, it's still hard for me to grasp, you know, him being a father, you know, and he's still, I call him the baby face assassin because he still got that baby face that he had when he was a kid. Like, boy, dang, give me some of your genes. Let me get some of that youth, you know. So, you know, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him. And, you know, that's it with my people. That's it with my people. But yeah, I just wanted to, you know, say happy Veterans Day to all of our wonderful veterans, past and present. You know, in a lot of cases, they don't get the credit that they deserve, and I just didn't want this day to pass without me on my channel acknowledging and sending love out to them, and you know, just doing what I need to do, doing my part to let them know that, you know, I care. I care about what they do and what they doing for us and the sacrifices that they making away from their families. I care about that. So, but that's that. But other than that, let me see. Let me see if I can. Get my shout outs. What's that? Samrian. What's up? I know I said your name all wrong, but what's up? I appreciate you. Uh, uh, Banana Man. Y'all got some cool names, man. What's up? What's up? I appreciate you. What's that? Isabella. What's up? Let's see. Yeah, it's okay. What phone you has? Uh, the phone I have, it ain't none of them good phones like what y'all got. I got uh, what's this phone? I got a Samsung, um, I can't remember. It's a what they call the other phones besides the iPhones? What they call that? Not Google. No, not Google. I don't know, but it's a decent phone. It's okay. It's okay. I had an iPhone one time, and you know, iPhones are better quality, I think, because I know my camera and my picture and stuff was like more precise. Um, but you know, to me personally, like that price, like I can't do that price like that. I got to go with something. But I would like to do this. I would like to get me some equipment in which I can do my videos and not have to worry about memory problems and stuff like that. Because that's the only thing about these phones. Like after so many videos, and I have 3 channels. After so many videos, I start having storage problems and have to change and switch stuff around and all of this kind of stuff. So I'll eventually get me some equipment to where I can do my videos and it won't interfere with my phone itself, you know. But I'm just starting out pretty much. My main channel, um, I'm over a year in on that channel. It started off pretty fast with growth, but then I started having some ups and downs with YouTube with that, just trying to figure everything out. That's the reason why I have this channel here, because I added, I wanted to be about my whole life, about my life. And when I started adding other things on that's part of my life, my my views and stuff on my channel just started dropping, and it's like I'm like, what's going on? So one of the YouTube gurus or gurus or whatever was saying, like, if you have a lot of different things going on, like YouTube get confused about who to send your material to and this and that and other, which I don't understand this, right? Because I've been watching YouTube for years. Now, I don't know, maybe they had this problem. I'm not sure. But I have quite a few people that I've been watching for a long time. Like, I watched their kids grow up from babies to teenagers. That's how long I've been watching YouTube. And the thing is, I watch them and I see them doing different things. I see them like cooking, traveling, entertainment, like different things they do. It's not just one thing that they do on their channel. So I don't understand, like why was it so hard for me to add? It's all about my life. Why was it so hard for me to add the different areas of my life to it? So I just said, you know what? Let's just scratch it. I'll go on and create a channel. And initially, when I created this channel, it was named after my brother's nickname. But then I said, I'm gonna do something different. So that's when I I made it more about me, but in dedication to my brother. So that's how I wind up with Next Level J. And J is me, you know. And Jay is a name that it was my nickname growing up. Um, you know, two things that I grew up with. Two names I grew up. I grew up with Jay, and as I got like towards my 30s, going into my 40s, I developed old school. People started calling me old school because my play style was old school, but it was effective, right? So, uh, and I thought about that. I thought about that. So on my other channel, that's why I decided to call myself old school because that's what everybody know me as. You know, I mentioned before about a kid that I ran into that, um, I taught him, some basketball stuff and how to shoot and stuff like that. And the kid was real tall. I probably said this on this channel, but the kid was tall. He was young, what, 9, 10, and he was tall. And I get out there and play ball with him, what I mean, teach him some things and stuff like that. And then when I moved away from there and I moved back to North Carolina, I didn't see him for a while. But I was in the store around here and all something this big tall dude looked like he about every bit of 6'3". It's like, hey, what's up, old school? And I recognize his face. He just a grown man with hair, but I recognize his face. I was like, hey, what's up? What's up, man? He's like, man, I'm glad I ran into you. I just want to tell you, I appreciate how you was there for us and how you helped us, with, teaching us how to play basketball and keeping us out of trouble. Like a lot of us didn't have no dads and stuff like that. And I appreciate you, you know, being there for us. And, man, listen, I could have melted like a marshmallow under the fire, man. I mean, that meant a lot to me. And, God will send people to you because at that time, like I was feeling, I dealt with depression, right? I dealt with depression up and down. And at that point, when he came, I wasn't really feeling all that good, right? But when I seen that kid and he said what he said, it makes me realize that it's, what I'm doing is the right thing. The efforts that I've made, it's not in vain. Even though the people you think should appreciate your efforts and what you do, don't. Don't worry about that because somebody is going to appreciate your efforts. Somebody is going to appreciate you for you and the things that you do. And even if it means somebody coming back from the past and reminding you, like, just always just make sure that you do the right thing and look out for people. And one thing that I try to say, this is Bible. I always talk about the seeds that we plant. The seeds are our deeds. Our deeds, good deeds or bad deeds. Those good deeds or bad deeds that you plant, eventually they're going to grow. They're going to grow and they're going to harvest. And whatever they harvest to, whether it's good or bad, it's going to come back to you. So in our talk and layman's talk is what goes around comes around. That's what it is. It's karma. What goes around comes around. So I try to put good things out, and I know eventually good things will come back. So that's it. But I'm getting off track. But anyway, as far as my brother, right? One thing I didn't say, I meant to say in closing, when I was talking about my brother. Oh, let me say this before my brother. My mom, she made it home good. I was happy to have her back home. Um, well, the worker on the train, he helped get all of her bags off the. He helped me get all of her bags off the train, which my mom had like 10 bags. Well, it wasn't that many. It was about 8 bags she had, and he said something to me. He said, make sure you appreciate your mom, because he said, because mine is gone and I wish she was here. I was like, wow. My mom, when she get around people, she get to talking and she encourages people and stuff like that. And I think she rubbed those people the right way. You know what I'm saying? I think she really left a positive, feeling on them. For that guy to say that to me, like, I felt like he appreciated the time that he had with my mom. And it probably made him think about the relationship that he had with his mom. And he told me that. That's the last thing he told me before he got back up on the train. He said, make sure you appreciate her, because mine is gone and I wish she was here. And he said, and I felt like, you know, he was about to get emotional. Like, I'm like, wow, but sometimes, we take each other for granted. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like, I try to talk to my kids. My kids, they living life. Like the song said, living their life like it's golden. They living their life and they going on, and sometimes I feel like they just forget about dad, but I try to let them know, listen, you know, take care of the people that you have. Be there for the people you have. Love the people that you have, because when God take them, it ain't no coming back. It ain't no all that, oh, I wish. All that's going to be out the door. My daughters, they already lost their mom. They already really done lost their whole generation over on their mom's side. The mom, the grandmother, the great grandmother, the father, the uncle, all of them died right behind each other. I never would imagine something like that. And then their mom wound up passing away. So I'm the only parent that they have left. And I realized, listen, I'm 53 years old. I'm not trying to be sitting and cramped up around my mom all day. I get it. You want to live life. You want to go and do some things for yourself or whatever like that. I get it. I get it. But listen, take some time out. Take some time out. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you have life, you still can create some good memories. You still can get some laughs, and when God take us home or take them home, at least you won't have no regrets, thinking that you wish you would have did this or said that. Don't be afraid to tell people you love them neither. Like, I tell my kids I love them. Like, they get tired of hearing me tell them. I want them to know that I love them, because I don't know if it may be the last time that I tell them. So if it's the last time I tell you, that's going to be in your memory. The last time we talked, Daddy said he loved me. Daddy told me he loved me. So just do that. That's just a little bit of advice, But anyway, back to my brother. The one thing that I wanted to say that I wish I would have said to close out that video, I couldn't think of all of the memories, because we had so many. We had so many good memories, But there's one thing that I wanted to say. Out of all of the people in the world, God chose him to be my brother, right? And I would never, ever trade him in for anybody else. Even though, we went through our him bully, little brother, all that type stuff like that. That was my big brother. And I would never trade him in for nothing, So I'm very grateful to have had him for the time that I had him, And even though I was down on myself, I felt, I kind of blamed myself a little bit, but through counseling and talking to different people, I'm glad that I had that last bit of time to spend with him. before he passed away, because I would never wanted to, for him to be out there where he was and pass away all alone. He was surrounded by me and his mom, you know. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. And I meant to say that on a video, but I'll say it today. I will always be grateful for the the love and the friendship that I had with my brother, you know, and that was that. But today, like I said, is about veterans. I know I got into a couple of other subjects, but listen, I just want y'all to know that I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. If nobody else said, I'm gonna say it. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you to your families and their sacrifice. You know how hard it is for a person not to be around their loved one, they're off. Imagine how hard they have to pray that their loved one return back home to them. So I pray for them as well. I pray for the family as well, you know. And I just pray that all of our troops can make it back home safe, back to their families where they belong. And I'll continue to do that, and I'll continue to have them and us all in my prayers. I will always continue to do that, you know. But I wasn't gonna be on here too long because I got to go over on my other channel. I'm gonna tell you, I got some a good message that I'm gonna be talking about over there. I'm a There's some things been on my mind, and um, I'm trying to I'm trying to I'm trying to give encouragement. I'm trying to help people where I was lost. I lived a large part of my life lost and foolish. And you know, I'm one thing I'm gonna say. I would never ever take back any good deeds that I've done. You know, I would never do that. But what I'm going to be talking about is some do's and don'ts, because I spent a lot of years putting myself in bad positions by trying to go over and above to help people. So I'll be talking about my experiences on my other channel. I'll show y'all. I must be going. I feel like I got the hiccups. I don't need to grow nothing but some muscles. That's it. But this is my other channel. Let's see if y'all can see it. YouTube Finest. This might be backwards. If you want to come and check that out at 9 o'clock, YouTube Finest, CJ Old School. Old School was in the house. So come check me out with that. I appreciate y'all as always, man. Y'all always hold me down. Y'all always inspire me to keep doing what I'm doing. And man, I can't give you enough credit. The veterans, we give them credit, but I give y'all credit because y'all keep coming back and y'all keep, representing on my behalf. So I thank you for that. Now, coming up on this channel between tomorrow and Wednesday, today is Monday the 25th. So either Tuesday the 26th or Wednesday the 27th. Look, time to get that workout on. All right, I'm coming back with some exercise. There's no excuses this week. I'm coming back with some exercises. I just wanted to talk to y'all a little bit today, and just kind of re-up on some things and do our veterans, give support to our veterans. But Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll put it I'll put it up what day that I can do it. I know I got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. That's why I say I don't know how my evening is going to be, but I'll post it up and let y'all know when it's going down. And it'll probably be around this time between 8:30 and 9. But that's all I got for now. I don't know if it's a game on. Probably a game on. I'm gonna go and try to get a little eye on that game, and then I'm gonna come back and do my other video on my other channel. But that's all I got. But till the next time, as I always say, love, peace, and blessings to all of y'all. I appreciate you. I love you. I see y'all on the next one. All right. Peace out.